Warning: the following program is a satirical look at Indigenous news, politics, and current events. Native Twitter is advised.
It's really gonna be different without you. Time is gonna be hard and slow. I'm gonna be thinking about you. Yes, I am. Time came when you had to go.
Bonjour and welcome to the Laughing Drum, television so deeply and profoundly Indigenous we have a platinum certificate of Indian status. I'm your host Tim Fontaine, back for another episode of whatever this show is supposed to be. And joining me as always is the Red Power panel, TV's most rezzed out team of pundits. This week the Red Power panel is cutting wit, keen intellect, a sweetgrass smoke aroma, and that's just his mustache. Sasha Mark is here. He may or may not be an actual bear. Jerry the Big Bear Barrett is here as well. And a comic whose land acknowledgements have been known to return huge swaths of land. Alyssa Black Wolf Kickson is also here. Welcome to you all.
Big witch.
That's very elderly. Okay, our first topic is a tough one, but I think we need to talk about it. The federal inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women girls has released its final report. Among its many findings is that the issue of MMIWG is genocide. Well, when that news broke, the old white people who run Canada's mainstream media lost their collective shits. Almost every single major news outlet, from CBC, CTV to the Globe and Mail and Toronto Star, published articles or editorials saying that it was not genocide. It's not genocide. And that sort of stuff continued on social media as well. It's continuing today. Red Power panel, what do you make of how the media responded to this story?
Didn't they say this is hurting Canada's reputation?
Yes.
Like,
that was one of the first.
I'm pretty sure the genocide hurt Canada's reputation.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what went down. Am I taking crazy pills?
Apparently. Yes, the reputation of Canada was one of the biggest things, and a couple of different media outlets took that stance as well. Well, one of them, like the CBC, even said, "How are we going to go to China now and do business with China?"
Yeah,
because they can now say that there's genocide here because there's genocide there as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when the Prime Minister accepted the recommendations from the inquiry, he said he accepts this. He didn't contradict it. He didn't say otherwise. So when he accepts that, he accepts the fact that it states it's genocide. So he, on behalf of Canada, he's accepting that term. Yeah. And like I say, didn't reject it.
He dodged it directly for a couple of days until he finally came out and said.
That's because he was in a room full of Indians.
Yes.
I'm sure. As soon as he got clear, oh well, they're reading between the lines. Or
He felt threatened by the war party.
yes. Ah, yes, the war parties. Well, also, I think with the mainstream media, first of all, didn't you guys go to like McMaster University or the U of T and get your education and your diplomas in journalism and international law and all the other courses that get your degree? But I think what it comes down to is money. Once again, if you've got a mainstream media outlet that's concerned with advertising dollars, and then you come out and of course you're going to defend the reputation of Canada. But at the same time, I think you have to accept the responsibilities that Canada's being, or the crimes that Canada's being accused of by the Indigenous people. Yeah. And not being accused, it's there, it's in plain sight. But it all comes down to, well, we can't say it's genocide, otherwise, our clients might start dropping advertising because we're being too controversial.
It's funny that the National Post, which is one of the probably most far-right newspapers in Canada, they came out and said it's genocide.
Yeah.
Surprising everybody.
Well, I think a part of them, though, was like they wanted to take credit for that. They were like, okay, look, we've worked really hard at this. So don't take that away from me. It is genocide. Too far?
Maybe.
Have I gone
Possibly.
too far?
Yeah, well,
We may have crossed that line.
the lawyers are on line 1, 2, and 3. Hang on.
The head of APTN is like, no. Okay, lots of people saying that they've had their trust in these publications shaken by this story. What are you guys hearing? Or how do you feel about it? I mean, I don't know what your views on mainstream media were before this story, but I know like a lot of people were saying like, this is crazy. Like this is a low moment in relations.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's ever been like a ton of good Indigenous reporting on behalf of industries like CBC and a lot of larger mainstream news networks. So it's like it's not surprising, and it's like you can even listen to the rhetoric in your own home office or within like people are still denouncing the word genocide. So like I'm not surprised, but it's bullshit.
And I'm wondering about the editorial meetings that these people have, and they, there'd be a first draft of whatever, editorial they're going to write, and then is there a second draft? And who checks on that? The board of directors for the corporation, or obviously they're allowed just to go ahead and state what they think is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I mean, they're the editor, particularly in the form of an editorial, which they don't sign it. I know a lot of people got upset because nobody had signed it, but when it's not signed and it's an editorial, that's the heads, that's the editorial heads of an organization that are saying this is how we feel, right?
Aha! And what about, since I'm wearing my court tie today,
if it pleases the court, sir.
Pleases the court, Your Honor, what of APTN, the Aboriginal People's Television Network? Should it be called the Indigenous People's Television Network? That aside, is there anybody on staff that would take to the air and do an editorial on this topic other than 3 comics?
Well, I can't speak for news, but I know that they typically don't do that.
And why do the mainstream media get to go out and make their case, and then the Indigenous network
that's a good question.
Kind of sits back and lets it all play out?
I guess it's a very good question. I'm not sure why.
Damn it!
It pleases the court, sir. But yeah, I mean, CTV did it. They had I can't remember what his name, but several senior reporters from there on a panel saying, I'm saying the exact same thing. This is just, what's China going to think? Yeah. That still just freaks me out.
And they're all white people on these panels. That's what I also noticed. And you see them all lined up there, and it's like, well, where's the Indigenous perspective here? Where's the Indigenous voice?
People are more worried about China than they are about
the Indigenous people.
That's the thing. It's so strange. It's like, don't mention the genocide in front of China. You'll embarrass us. I mean, it's such a strange stance, and that's what a lot of people are taking from it.
I think the fact that we're only now talking about it, I think that's more embarrassing.
About genocide?
About the word genocide.
Yeah.
I think that the world knows what happened. The world knows what's happening. It's in the mainstream media, like even BBC will cover stories about MMIW before any Canadian
which
news outlet will do. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, not surprised.
Well, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the way some people are talking about dealing with these newspapers, which is through a boycott. We're going to talk about boycotts, so don't go away. And welcome back to the Laughing Drum Television. So utterly Indigenous eagles smudge themselves with a lock of our hair. I'm here with TV's most Indigenous team of pundits, the Red Power panel, and we are ready to dig into our next topic, boycotts. Good God, y'all, what are they good for? We'll soon find out. Because Hollywood is threatening to boycott the state of Georgia over its anti-abortion laws. A boycott could jeopardize the state's multi-billion-dollar production industry. Red Power panel, you all work in the entertainment industry in some way or other. What do you make of this?
I'm boycotting the Laughing Drum really soon.
Yes, you are. You certainly are, my friend.
I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
I think it's a lot of people are really concerned about that industry, but I think right now I'm more concerned about not having access to women's health care, Yeah. So if that doesn't come first, then fuck your movie business, We don't need Sweet Home Alabama too, so we're fine.
Yes, we do. Jerry, you got a role in that, don't you?
I don't know about that, but But yeah, of course they should. I think they should protest and pull their money out because money speaks volumes, especially in Hollywood and down south with the political environment that we have today. Money's going to speak volumes. So yeah, I agree with them pulling out.
Alyssa?
Hit them where it hurts,
Yeah.
and the money hurts.
Yeah. Billions of dollars, yeah.
Billions of dollars, yes. So I do believe that there is like a certain power to a boycott, especially when you have such a powerful industry that backs that boycott. When it comes to, you know, like even small things like Not My Stellas that happened this past year.
In Winnipeg, yeah.
In Winnipeg. It's still like there was a whole lot of change that came from that. So I'm all for the boycott. Normally I make fun of it, but I'm for it.
Just in way of explanation, Not My Stellas, that was to do with a restaurant chain in Winnipeg that was, a lot of the staff came forward and said they were mistreated, and people started to boycott the restaurant, and the restaurant made significant changes, I believe, too, to management and how, and I think the staff unionized. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff that happened anyway, so just by way of explaining. So we know you're pro-boycott. Sasha, what do you think, like, other than multi-billion-dollar industries, how effective are boycotts?
I think it is effective in this situation where you are a multi-million-dollar business and you're going to boycott it. But sometimes when you are, you know, like a small person, it's difficult to see that. Like a person's going to put on a show with a problematic comedian, and they're going to move forward with that. People are still going to go to those shows. So if I boycott it, they're still going to make their money. So I think that boycotting isn't the only solution to these problems, but it's a part of it for sure. You know.
Yeah. A lot of times when I boycott something, I don't think that my $20 or whatever it costs for the ticket really makes a big difference. I don't know, but I feel sometimes I'm not making a difference. I feel a little better inside myself saying I'm not going to support this business or this whatever performance and then stay away. But the place still packs in, you know, because it's controversial. Everybody wants to see what all. In fact, the boycotting probably helps them make business.
I think,
I can't win.
In some cases, it's probably true that people will yeah, it's debatable whether that's effective, but I think, as a personal choice, I mean...
they're going to, if a circus comes to town, they're going to electrocute an elephant. So, of course, you're going to boycott it, but like the whole town's, most of the town's going to go see the elephant get electrocuted anyway. Because you never know. Who's seen that before? Boycott it. Oh, I got to go see.
Don't give them ideas. That's all we need. Yeah. Boycotting. What is it good for? But, I mean, again, you talked about the staff. I mean, we all talked a bit about the staff and how people, like with Stella's, there was people that said the same thing, where it's like, you're hurting the people that still choose to work there, right? I mean,
well,
is that...
yeah, and that's absolutely it. And I know when that entire thing was happening, they were telling people, like, go and buy, but like tip, because the tips go to the employees who are, you know, working under these circumstances. So I feel like people get really, you know, worked up about boycotts, like, oh, it won't do anything if I don't go, it's not going to make a difference, but that you're still being complicit to these things. It's being vocal about these things. So a lot of mainstream Hollywood is very vocal about these anti-abortion laws, and that's how they're picking up so much steam. Whereas when you have, you know, like Sasha brought up, problematic comedians, if people are, you know, super complicit about it and think, well, I can't make a difference, so I'm not going to voice my opinion or, you know, take part in, you know, a boycott, you're still doing as much damage as, you know, people who willingly support by being complicit.
And might I add, this thing they call the Facebook, I don't know if your kids have it, but it's pretty cool. Everybody's got the Facebook. I find that a lot of Indigenous people who are shadowed in some businesses and some towns, maybe that they're you know, they're treated unfairly. They'll go to Facebook and they'll say, boycott this business. And by God, you'll see the number, click, click, click. Everybody will like, agree, and I don't know whether they're boycotting it or not. But Facebook and the social media now puts more pressure and onus on the businesses that are, you know, possibly racial profiling Indigenous people, black people, for no reason, other than the fact that their skin's brown.
If anything, I guess a boycott at least brings the word out that something is not
kosher.
Yeah.
Something's rotten in Denmark.
You're mixing up all your sayings.
I don't know what the hell. It's the tie. I knew if I put on the white man tie, I'd start trying to talk like a white man. I did boycott that movie with Liam Neeson, and God bless you, Tom Jackson. I know that you got the gray hair and you're in that murder mystery movie now, which looks really cool, and I wanted to go see it, but because of Liam Neeson and the way the controversial stuff that he did, I boycotted that movie, and it had Indigenous actors in it, some of my favorite people. Yeah. And I thought, I can't, in good conscience, go see it.
Yeah. So I guess if anything, we can say that boycotts are something.
They are something. Boy, are they.
They can be effective if done properly.
Yes.
So
we've learned something.
We've learned something today. And we got to take a short break. We got to take a short break, so don't go too far away, or we'll be just sad.
Did you know we got the social medias?
Man, don't lie.
It's true. Like the Laughing Drum on Facebook and follow us on Twitter right now.
Welcome back to the Laughing Drum. TV's so Indigenous, when we walk into a room, it's considered grand entry. I'm here with the Red Power panel, and we are ready to have a little chinwag about our final topic, Doug frickin' Ford. Since being elected, Ford's government has been cutting and slashing budgets and programs like it's going out of style. And with their approval ratings in the garbage now, the Ford government is set to take a 5-month break. They say it's because they've been working so hard, but some say it's because it's having a negative effect on the federal Conservatives' Andrew Scheer's campaign. Red Power panel, what do you think?
I think a lot of people have voiced that they want Ford out of office, but this is not what we meant. This is not what we meant at all.
A 5-month break, yeah,
5-month break. Oh,
well, they say that it's all, they're taking all this time off, 5 months, so it's all pay and no work. That's it. Yeah. All pay and no work, which could be their new campaign slogan, I think. Put that on your front lawn.
Melissa?
No play and all work make Alyssa a dull boy, I tells ya. 5-month break with pay would be phenomenal. But in terms of Ontario, that is, I mean, we have it pretty bad with our premier, taking off to Costa Rica.
That's right. Yes.
But at 5 months off,
it's like 5 Costa Ricas, a trip.
It's a little excessive. What are you? What is your contingency plan?
I would have to.
The Capricorn in me is just freaking the F out. I'm like, what is your backup plan? Do you have drones? What is?
Do you have drones?
What are you going to do with your province?
Doug's Ford's face on it just floats around and governs.
Which I do think, honestly, having nothing might be more useful to Indigenous people in office than having him in office.
Well, there you go. So people on social media are saying that Ford is taking a break to help Scheer win the election because he's polling so bad that people are associating the two parties, even though technically they're not.
Well, people thought that Doug Ford was going to be Canada's answer to Donald Trump. Whatever he did was going to be so controversial, he could say and do anything that he's going to get everybody on board, but he just doesn't have the magic of a Trump.
It's not taking, apparently the numbers there
out
are
of sight, put them out of sight.
But what do you make of that? I mean, they're both denying that Ford is saying, no, Scheer didn't call and tell us to take a break, because they're not coming back till after the federal election.
Right.
Because apparently voters in that province, and particularly Conservative voters, are turned off by federal Conservatives because of what's happening provincially. Mm-hmm. So is he hiding out? Do you buy that? Or buy that?
He's the hole-in-the-wall gang.
Hole-in-the-wall gang.
Yeah, when something goes horribly wrong, quick, back to the hole in the wall. Roll the rock in front of the cave. No one will find us in here. We'll wait till it blows over. He's in his fallout shelter. He's in his bomb shelter.
Like if that's the solution, like, wouldn't a better solution be like, hey, do your job so Andrew Scheer looks good? You know? Like, I'm just like, I don't understand this. I wish I could be so bad at my job. I get paid 5 months to just be like, all right.
Disappear.
And then you're like, okay, I don't know. What is happening?
You're so bad.
We can't use the word genocide, but this can happen. Like,
but they want to put up, I mean, people need a higher minimum wage, and they need more pharmacare and health care and all these issues. And to take 5 months off and just put your head in
I mean, the Ford
sand.
apparently has criticized teachers for getting 3-month paid vacation or something like that, and here he is. And here he is taking 5 months off. So.
Well, a sabbatical. I can see a professor taking a sabbatical to
Well, they're supposed to actually do
write
something.
a book,
Yeah.
maybe solve world hunger,
Maybe
world
Ford's
peace, and
working
win
on
a
a book.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Maybe Ford's working.
But
on
he's
that.
up in the
Mein
Muskokas.
Kampf too, you know?
He's up in the Muskokas, wandering around his cottage with his banana hammock, with some sort of a pina colada, and he's, oh God, I love this country, I love you.
That's an image nobody needs.
Well, you know.
That is definitely.
It's the most offensive thing I've ever heard on the Laughing Drum. Like,
Okay, we got to stop talking about Doug Ford for a
Thank
minute
God.
and banana hammocks and pina coladas. We need to say fare thee well to this young man right here. Our friend Sasha Mark, and his mustache first appeared on our little show last season, and he's been a regular panel ever since. Sadly, he has decided to move on to bigger and better things on the West Coast. Sasha, my friend, we will miss you.
Thank
you
you
so much for being a part of this show. And
thank you for having me. Speaking of banana hammocks and pina coladas, see you, Vancouver.
What are you going to be doing? You're going to go follow your comedic dreams?
That is the game plan. The game plan. So just going to head to Vancouver, and I've already booked shows until September, and it's been so welcoming so far. So I'm really appreciative of that. So I'm really excited.
Do you need an opening act? I know a couple people that may want to expand their horizons.
We're all going to show up in Vancouver at your door looking for a place to happen. But so Sasha, thank you so much. It's been great having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor. So.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, actually, we got to say good night now. Yes. Good night to you forever. You're dead to us. But thanks to the crew, as always, for making this show happen every week, making us look good. Thanks to the Red Power panel, we're -1 now, for coming out and sharing the dark thoughts that are in their brain. And thanks to the dozens of you who tune in each week. We'll see you back here next Tuesday. Good night.
It's really gonna be different without you. Time is gonna be hard and slow. I'm gonna be thinking about you. Yes, I am. Time came when you had to go.